Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Phil Risher, and on today's episode, we're going to be discussing how to use AI to book more jobs with Brigham Dickinson and Power Selling Pros. Thanks so much for joining us today, Brigham.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, for sure. So, Brigham, round two coming up, which is exciting. He's the founder of Power Selling Pros, a company that has transformed customer service training in the home service industry by coaching over 1,000 customer service representatives to convert more calls into appointments. He's also the author of Something to Give, A Journey to Become a Leader Worth Following. This helps home service companies grow by mastering the art of customer communication. And his unique approach combines practical call handling techniques with leadership development, enabling business owners to build customer service teams that consistently make their companies the first choice for consumers. All that to be said, I can attest to this because we've had several clients go through Power Selling Pros and their booking rates have increased significantly, which is why I love having you on, because that's what I'm passionate about. So we talked about this before. Can you give someone like a quick high level overview of how you got into this, into helping business owners?
Yeah. So love this industry, got into it by accident. I was brokering some pay-per-click deals. And one of my clients, Troy Nearing's Plumbing and Heating, brought me in and simply said, "Hey, your leads are no good." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, they just call in and they say, 'Hey, I just want a ballpark price,' or 'I just want to know what you charge to come out,' or 'I just want to talk to a technician.' Calls we never get, right?
Yeah.
Except for all the time." And I said, "Look, those are bookable calls." And he says, "Yeah, but we don't know how to book them, so we need to put things on hold for now." I said, "Cool. Where are you going to get your leads?" "Nowhere." "Okay, cool. So let's leave this on and let's train your team on how to book those calls, because chances are they have the same issues that all your other customers have. You just got to handle it. You just got to know how to handle those types of calls." And he said, "Well, okay. What do you have in mind?" I said, "Just let me train them. Let me train them. I know what to do. I used to answer phones at a company called Arctic Air, and I know how to handle it. I know how to book those calls." And so one of his buddies was referred to me after that by Troy, and I started working with him. I wanted to do his advertising. He said, "Hey, train my team." And I said, "Well, I have to do your advertising." And he's like, "No, I've got that covered, but I'll pay you to train my team." And then, of course, the light bulb came on, and
Yeah.
the rest is history. Started out with 6 CSRs, and now it's well over 1,000. We're up over 1,200 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So traditionally your company would go into companies and coach their CSRs, whether that's in person, maybe on Zoom or something like this, listening to calls, call handling. Is that still what you're currently doing now, or have things changed with the delivery of services?
We do most of our coaching via Zoom.
Okay.
All right. So we coach one-on-one twice a month using your own calls. And we do that, generally speaking, via Zoom. Sometimes it's over the phone still, but It's twice a month coaching. So over 1,200 trainees in our program that are coached by us twice a month. We've got over 25 coaches.
Okay. So before working with you, if someone's not listening to their calls and analyzing them, is there a basic, like, hey, listen to these calls and look for these couple things in these calls, like a basic framework that people should be listening to, or what does that look like?
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick. So this is the pattern for excellence.
Okay.
This is the foundation tool that we use for not just booking calls, but in our interpersonal interactions inside the office as well as outside the office. What are they? Well, it's eight principles: positivity, confidence through preparation and practice, listening, caring, reassuring, asking the right questions, creating value, and being grateful. Those 8 principles will help create a wow experience for the customer. So let me demonstrate how you would use this on a call similar to what we were just talking about. Hey, I'm just looking for a ballpark price. Now, every customer, in fact, everyone that calls in needs to feel understood. They need to feel cared about, and they need to feel reassured that they've called the right place. So those 3 things are paramount at the beginning of every phone call. Show them that you're listening, show them that you care, reassure them that they've called the right place. All right. And you'll see here, you've got 4 principles on the bottom, right? You're going to listen, you're going to care, you're going to reassure, you're going to ask when. Did I do that right? It's over here. Listen, care, reassure. Okay, right here. All right. So I'm going to show you a way to listen, care, reassure. So a customer gets on the phone. Hey, I'm looking for a ballpark price. Great. Tell me more about your situation. What's going on? This is me wanting to listen. I'm showing him that I want to listen.
And not falling into the trap of price.
Yeah. I just want to get an idea as to what's happening. Okay, cool. What's happening to your system? Well, I've got this air conditioner that's blowing hot air. Well, that's not good. How long has it been doing that? Oh, last couple of days. So wait a minute. You've been doing this for the last couple of days? Wow. Well, look, you've called the right place. We can help. When would you like us out? Oh, this afternoon would be good. And we're rolling. Now, this isn't a put off. Hey, what do you charge to come out? It really depends. Does it not? If we're giving them an estimate on a new system, there's no charge there.
Right.
If it's something that we're coming out to fix, there might be a diagnostic that's charged. Either way, I need more information before I can properly answer that question. It's not a put off. Hey, I want to talk to a technician. Great. We have a ton of those. Tell me more about your situation. Let me make sure I'm sending out the right one. Okay. Again, it's not a put off. I want to make sure I send the right technician to the right job. It's the truth. It's not a put off.
Yeah.
So it's about listening, caring, reassuring. You do those things in the beginning, you'll recognize that it's not logical. It's actually emotional. Okay. And your goal is to create an emotional connection so that by the time you get to when would you like to come out, it's really natural. They say this afternoon would be good. Why? Because I like you. I like you. You understood me. You took the time to care about my situation and you reassured me that I've called the right place. I don't know that I've called the right place.
That's right.
Hopefully you do. Right.
Right.
And that's important at the beginning of the phone call. Listening, caring, reassuring. You take that, you should book 70% of your calls.
Yeah. And something that you said last time that I find so much value in is that it's not about scripted selling, because people try to script things out. It's about the emotional selling piece of building that relationship, like what you're saying, which so many people miss that. They think, oh, I got a call script. Well, it's not just the call script. You have to know it in your bones and have that conviction of your emotion side, which I think is so.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a conversation with a rep from American Express last night. And the reason why it stood out is because she's from India and she was funny. She was not just funny. She had sarcasm. Risky. Sarcasm was always risky over the phone, right? Like customer service. But I love that she took the risk. She had genuine laughter. It was remarkable. It made it very easy for me to do whatever it is she wanted to do. I mean, I'm now paying $650 a year for American Express card. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I just got this thing. Delta, American Express card. Okay. Now I know how Zig Ziglar feels when he never leaves home without it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. I have this card because I liked her.
That's right. And this is the level of great customer service. People are going to talk about what just happened to their experience and they're going to pass it along.
There's an absolute stigma with groups of call handlers in India. It doesn't matter where you're from. No. If you have the right training and the right oversight, man, you're going to go far. You're going to go far.
That's right. Now, I have on my agenda, I want to kind of bring up a little bit of elephant in the room with, okay, Brigham, great. Well, AI answers my phones and they book 90% of my calls. How is this changing from an AI perspective of AI call handlers versus traditional CSRs? Because I'm sure it's impacted your business or you've come across this before.
So the first thing that comes to mind is liar, liar, pants on fire.
Okay. I agree. So, I'm glad you said that.
So AI can book easy calls where they're going to book anyway. Mm-hmm. And there's a place for AI. However, the types of calls that I'm talking about, I want to know what you charge to come out. I want to talk to a technician. Just looking for a ballpark price. That consists of about 40% of our phone calls. Mm. And my friends, that's what you're missing. That's what AI cannot book. And they won't book. All right. We have our own call center. We have 60 CSRs. We've had 6 companies over the last 90 days leave for AI answering services and come back.
Wow.
Why? Because it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Okay. It's not there yet. Will it get there? Probably. But when it gets there, it's going to do some things. It's going to have some stipulations. Stipulation number 1, whenever somebody calls in and says, I'm looking for a ballpark price, you want to program the AI to simply say, awesome, let me get you in touch with a live agent and transfer it to a trained and certified live agent that can handle that call, book that call while that customer. I would always have humans taking a look at all of it. All right. So let's say that a human is on the call and they can't get to that call that's ringing. Fine. Have AI answer that. Have AI answer it. But as soon as you are off that call, you take a look at what AI did. All right. Make sure that it's scheduled in the right spot, because our goal is to keep the dispatch board full. It's not just to book calls. We want to keep the dispatch board full. And if that AI books that appointment for 2 weeks from now, that's a mistake.
Yes.
Okay. They're going to do it the next available. Well, we hit the summertime and AI is booking 2-3 weeks out. Trust me, all those customers are calling somebody else and finding if they can get somebody sooner. Now, even if we're booked solid, we might have customers that call in to reschedule. We might have customers call in we might have technicians call in and say, hey, they're done early in a specific area. Those situations require oversight. They require human oversight to be able to play a little bit of Tetris and push some customers around, move them around in a very delicate and refined.
That's right.
Pattern for excellence centric way, right? Where they feel like they're being wowed, even though they're being moved around. So AI has a place. It has a place. And you want to use it for that place. Quite frankly, with my call center of 60 CSRs, guess what? We use AI, but we're all on the phone. And we're calling them right after to make sure that everything's taken care of. So look, it has a place. Use it to the point that it makes sense. And make sure that your humans are incredibly trained to handle whatever the AI cannot handle.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you can have AI answer the phone, and then if someone asks some of these trigger questions, you can say, hey, let me get a live person on the phone, and then kick it over.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I would have humans answer phones. If they're on the phone, have AI be the backup plan.
Like the overflow, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And then obviously have some oversight. If it's straight AI, then probably maybe have a CSR or someone pick up the phone just to make sure everything was handled correctly and taken care of, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if you have to, that is absolutely plan B.
Yeah.
Okay. A well-trained human that connects with the customer, takes care of their specific needs is always best.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what's best right now. It's interesting. I was at an event, a summit in Las Vegas, and I won't name the AI. It's a very reputable AI. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's one many people use. And somebody in the audience made the representative do a live demonstration of the AI. Mm-hmm. It was a mistake. At one point, the AI just said, well, thanks for calling. As soon as basically the customer asked a question, and the AI said, thanks for calling, click. And it was over. And of course, it's funny. The representative was dumbfounded and he said, oh, it's not supposed to do that. And the whole crowd was like, okay.
Yeah. I interviewed some AI people on my show, and in the comments of our videos, people are like, I called this company and it hung up on me in 10 seconds or 5 seconds. Like, here's the phone number. Y'all can try it out. And I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. Like,
yeah, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
It's not there yet.
So we talked a little bit, but like there is ways to use AI to help you with your phone handling. One way I would imagine is like you have all this data of calls, right? Words per second, and listening to phone calls. Do y'all use any of that data to help, like transcripts and that kind of stuff?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I know Lace is on our list.
Okay. No. I'm kind of going into that. I don't know too much about it. I just know that you partnered with this AI company. What does that look like?
So here's the cool thing about Lace. So Lace, they're more into listening to the specific call that comes in, determining the performance of. They basically classify the performance of each CSR. The cool thing about Lace is they're creating a lot of awareness for the need for call handling training. Mm. So they're getting clients onboarded, and then the client recognizes where their CSRs are falling short, and they don't have Lace doesn't have an answer. And so Boris, the owner of Lace basically came to us during an event and said, "Hey, we need your help. We're identifying the problem
Yeah.
with each CSR through our AI, but we're not able to provide a solution."
Mm.
Now, they don't currently have a solution like other AI companies that have their own bot, and the reason why they don't is because they know it's not there yet either.
Yeah.
Right? They've accepted the fact that the AI won't get there for a while. And so instead, what they've done is they monitor and they monitor calls, and they determine whether or not a call should have been booked.
So it sounds like this is kind of like a realification of your CSR calls, right?
You got it. You
Okay,
got
so
it. And it's heightened the awareness of a contractor that they have to take care of this. Most contractors are very good at training their technicians. You know,
yep.
whenever I ask a business owner, how often do you train your techs? They say, "Oh man, every day. Every day." It's like a badge of honor. Every day. Okay, cool. And how often do you train your CSRs? Crickets.
Right.
Right? They spend very little time. And so the cool thing about Lace is that it's bringing to light, it's putting a spotlight on the call handling department and giving us a ton of opportunity. And besides that, the platform is really cool. It's very dynamic. It
Yeah.
makes it easy for our coaches as well as our monitors to, instead of having to listen to every call,
Exactly.
we just work through. I mean, it's made our lives a whole lot easier. So,
Yeah.
hey, definitely, Lace is great. Use it.
Yeah.
It'll help us do our job.
Yeah, very cool. My sales calls, we use Fathom and we record our calls, and I take the calls from our team, also plug it into ChatGPT and say, hey, where did our team get tripped up here? Where did they, you know, fail to build confidence with customers? And then it gives me the whole thing. This sounds like it can do this on a mass scale of all your calls to kind of give you a synopsis of everything very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Before, it was easy for a contractor in that they knew that we'd be monitoring the calls.
exactly.
Now that they're starting to use Lace, they have the ability to not just pull up whether or not the call was booked, but whether or not the CSR was positive, whether or not they sound prepared over the phone, whether or not they showed the customer that they were listening, whether or not they showed the customer that they cared or reassured them. See, all these principles that we're looking for, it's made it a whole lot easier for all of us to take a look at patterns in the CSR's behavior
Yeah,
and determine the next step. Now, what's really cool about this is that I just dropped my daughter off at Element Heating and Cooling. She's a CSR there.
oh, cool.
And she uses Lace. She sent me a screenshot. She was the only one answering phones yesterday. A couple of gals were out, and she was the only one answering phones.
Wow.
And she showed me her booking rate, and it was 100% booking rate. And I was like, cool. Send me the rest of the report from Lace. And she's like, come on, Dad.
Yeah.
Throw me a freaking bone here.
Yeah. Yeah. Something cool. I follow you on LinkedIn as well. And I love that y'all do Spartan races and stuff together. Are you guys into that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Faye is a fighter.
Yeah.
Okay. She's a fighter. I don't know how much I should share here, but now that she's in the industry, I need to be careful.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful. So,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm sure she'll be fine. She graduated from high school, started going to college, and she ended up having a kid. And it's amazing how children make you grow up very, very quickly, right? And it's funny too, because when you first find out, you're like, "What the heck's going on?" But as soon as that grandkid comes into your life and you're holding that grandkid, you're like, "This is great.
Yeah.
This is wonderful, and it's going to be okay."
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And I found out the reason why I had kids. I love my kids, I really do.
Yeah.
But grandkids are next level of love. I don't know how to explain it. Like this grandkid, her name is Dream. She is something else in our lives. And the cool thing about it is it's kind of given Faye and I a reason to kind of reconnect and hang out together and give me the opportunity to mentor her a little bit. And she was in a completely different industry before. And I said, "Sweetheart, you need to get into my industry. It's an awesome industry. And I think you'll love it." And when I dropped her off at work this morning, she's like, Dad, I love my job. I love it.
So
And I'm
good.
just like, yeah, I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew you would love it.
So
And
good.
she's a champ. So one of the things I'm working with her on, just to help her build up her confidence, right, is hey, sweetheart, let's get you into some Spartan races. Let's get things going. And so I scheduled the first Spartan race in Phoenix. We're going to talk longer about this than you anticipated.
No, it's cool.
And so we schedule it, the one in Phoenix. We race together, and she finishes in 3 hours. And it was a run walk type of thing. And I assumed it would be.
Yeah.
And so my thought is, okay, so for the next race we do, I'll do my own race because I have this thing where I'm on a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do my own race, 6 miles, 25 obstacles. And then I'll just be with you in your race. I'll just kind of make sure you get through it and everything's great. Well, the thing is that she's been doing CrossFit ever since she did Phoenix. She started working out CrossFit. And so when we went to Las Vegas, I finished my race. I was kind of upset because I missed the spear throw, had to do burpees. See, every time you miss an obstacle, you have to do burpees. And so I had to do 30 burpees and it ruined my time. So I took 8th,
Yeah.
which was fine. Whatever. I'll get over it. And I start with her race and she's booking it. Okay.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like, sweetheart, just keep going. Don't wait for me.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
Yeah.
But she ended up finishing in 2 hours instead of 3.
Wow.
She took an hour off her time. It was incredible.
Wow.
And so then she just had the bug. She's been hitting CrossFit like crazy. So we are literally flying out tonight. She's going to get done with work at 6. I'm going to pick her up. We're going to drive to Las Vegas. And we're going to San Diego. We'll hit there probably 10:30ish, and we'll hit the course tomorrow on Saturday morning. Yeah. So it'll be her 3rd race, and I'm telling you right now, Phil, she's starting to look really jacked.
Yeah.
She Mandeep happened to be in her office the other day, and he took a picture with her, and I looked at the picture and I was like, oh man. She's looking tough.
Yeah.
She's looking really tough.
Yeah. I think there's a big part to this that a lot of people miss is that for business owners, your CSRs, anyone on your team is like, they have to have something outside of work to get them fired up. And I think exercise, whatever it is, that gets people going. When they come into work, they can execute as well and give them some type of regimen and structure. And I think a lot of people miss that with anything in their business.
You will increase your income if you're in shape.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. You'll have more energy. You'll have more focus. If you work out at least 4 to 5 times a week, it will change your income. It will change your life. The most important thing when it comes to fitness is sleep and nutrition. Okay. You want to get fit. You want to get that, whatever, 6-pack. I mean, in the industry is kind of talking about it. Ever since Tommy Mello got down to 10% body fat, everybody's talking about it. He's such a trendsetter, right?
Yeah.
But it's the truth. When you work out, you will have more energy. It will positively affect your income. So it releases chemicals in your body that lay dormant if you don't work out. So definitely work out, have a nutrition plan. If nothing else, and I've talked to some people about this where they like, I just don't like working out. That's fine. Walk every day.
That's right.
Just walk around your block, and then maybe walk a mile before you go to work, and then maybe walk more than that. I saw an article the other day with basically it was a truck driver, and he gave a comparison between truck drivers who actually pull over to the side of the road and walk for a little bit every day, and how it changes their alertness while they're driving, keeps them more awake, keeps them in better shape, and all the benefits of just taking a walk every day. So just take a walk. Make sure your nutrition's on point. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. And at very least, walk every day.
Yeah. All right. I got another question on here when it comes to CSRs versus rehashing, because I know a lot of businesses, they want their CSRs to also be their rehashers, following up on estimates, working, opportunities, that kind of stuff. Is
Yeah.
that a good idea, or is it better to keep CSR separate for booking and rehashing and like more of an inside sales rep type of thing?
Okay. So if they learn this pattern,
Yeah.
okay, if they've embodied this, they can rehash like nobody's business. Okay. Cause it's all anything that's customer facing. I don't agree with collections.
Okay.
I wouldn't have them do collections. That's not customer service. You're collecting money there, right?
Yeah.
Do you still want to do it in a very positive and upbeat way? Sure. I mean, as long
Yeah.
as it stays there,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
got to put your foot down, right?
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. It's a
Yeah.
different mindset. Have somebody else do that. But when it comes to rehashing, when it comes to inside sales, they should be able to do all those things. Okay. Here's how you get them started. You have your CSRs self-service agreements over the phone. Okay. And it's very simple. All right. I'm not going to do this with a new CSR. In fact, Faye and I were having this conversation the other day. She's been working with Element Heating and Cooling for a couple of weeks now. And I said, sweetheart, just give it a couple more weeks. Get used to Service Titan. Get used to following the script that they want you to follow. Just get used to the processes and the procedures, how to maneuver appointments around, how to interact with the technicians. Just focus on that for now. But in the future, when you're comfortable, when everything else is muscle memory, I want you to focus in on every call that comes in. Follow the process. You're going to listen. You're going to care. You're going to reassure. You're going to ask the right questions. You're going to book the appointment. You're going to create value before you present the dispatch, if there is one. But at the very end of that call, you say, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed we've been out to your home a couple of times over the last 3 years, and you still don't have a membership with us. I'm wondering why not. Now, Phil, how long did that take me?
Yeah. 5 seconds, 6 seconds.
Seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again for everybody listening. I'm looking at your notes. I noticed you don't have a membership with us. I'm wondering why not. You see, it prevents things like this, the thing that we're dealing with right now, from happening. You see, the best time to sell service agreements over the phone, because that's when the customer's feeling the most emotional angst. Okay, what are they feeling when they call in? They're frustrated. They're concerned about how much it's going to cost. They were caught by surprise. They were caught off guard.
Scheduling times, all that stuff.
All of that. They're trying to figure all that out. They're on edge. Okay. And they would much rather this just never happen.
Yeah.
Best time to sell preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed you don't have a membership with us. I'm wondering why not. We come out the spring. We come out in the fall. We make sure it's running at peak efficiency. The best part about it is it prevents things like this, the thing you're dealing with right now, from happening. Do that on every call. If you do that on every call and you incentivize them, okay, in other words, once you've done the training, okay, either you do it or have somebody else do it. Have the training done, begin to monitor their calls. When they sell a service agreement, compensate them. Okay. And I've seen people do $10, $15, $20. The one thing I don't want you to do, don't do a percentage. You see, CSRs can't calculate a percentage.
Yeah.
They don't know what their check's going to look like at the end. It's always a surprise. That's not good. You want them looking at their pay every day. You want them counting like on their own notebook.
Right. That's right.
You know, you want them to know what they're getting paid.
That's right.
Okay. So pay them.
Yeah.
Pay them. So let's do some math real quick. Let's say that you pay them $15 a service agreement. Okay. You get 30 calls that come in a day per CSR. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. And at $15 now, let's say that 20 out of the 30 calls they just say, nah, I'm good, which could totally happen, right?
Of course.
And all we would say there is no big deal. If you change your mind, talk to your technician while he's out there. Done. What that means though is that there are 10 customers per day that say, well, what is it? Well, it's awesome. We come out in the spring. We come out in the fall. We make sure it's running at peak efficiency. The best part about it is it prevents things like this, the thing you're dealing with right now, from happening. If you want it, I can get you going on it right now. It's just $25 a month. Done. Okay. Easy. Let's say that 2 out of the 10 decide to move forward every day. Now, every listener on this podcast right now is probably thinking, wow, if I can get my CSR selling 2 a day, that would be incredible. It's not just incredible, it's 100% doable. They just need to ask that question on every call. Okay, so let's say they get 2. That means they get $30 a day, $150 a week. and $7,500 a year. If we had a CSR on this podcast with us and we were to ask him or her, what would you do with an extra $7,500 a year? They'd be pretty darn excited about that. They're talking car payments. They're talking pay off their car. They're talking going to Disneyland. They're talking about any other trip they want to go on.
That's right.
So on and so forth. This will change their lives. Now, if you do this, what it is it's a gateway drug to what? Rehashing.
Yep.
Okay. If calls aren't coming in, we're going to have them call out. Okay. They're going to stay busy. They're going to stay busy because one way or the other, they're going to be on the phone call. Okay. So
That's right.
Rehashing, renewing service agreements, turning service calls into replacement calls. And why not?
That's right.
Text set leads are our best leads. Why wouldn't we have the CSRs do the same thing? Hey, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed that we've been working on that system of yours for over 12 years now. You've gotten some great life out of it. Have you ever considered replacing it?
That's right.
Now, if they say no, that's fine. But you don't know unless you ask.
That's right.
Hey, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed that we've been working on that same system there for 15 years. You know, sometimes your technicians don't have the guts to say this. Great. Right. Let the CSR say it.
Yeah.
And let's say that customer says, you know what, I would consider replacing it. And then she schedules a separate appointment, a replacement call and a service call. Would you not pay her for that?
That's right.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
You pay Google for it. You pay Google for it. You pay her.
Exactly. So look, it was the coolest thing to have Faye call me 3 days into her job and tell me she sold 2 service agreements.
Wow.
Dad, I sold 2 service agreements. That's amazing. Sweetheart, let's do some math. And she's like, oh, okay. And I said, now you're getting, I don't know if she wants me to, $18 an hour. Okay. She's just going to have to get over it.
That's fine. Man.
Sweetheart, this is what I do for a living. I love you. Okay. Yeah. So $18 an hour. Okay. So let's do some math. If you're getting paid $15, I think it's more than that. They pay a crazy amount. They pay $30 per service agreement.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's an extra $60. We did the math. We found out now you're getting $22 an hour, not just 18. She's like, oh, that's so right. I could totally. And then she started thinking about, well, what if I sold 4 next time? And what if I sold 5? Do you see what I'm getting at here?
Yes. Yeah.
The goal is to create self-reliance. Mm-hmm. Every one of those CSRs out there is just like my kid. And all I'm trying to do is give her a leg up in life. Imagine for a moment, every one of your CSRs, chances are 40, 50% of them have a kid. Mm-hmm. Chances are. And they don't just need a job where they're clicking in, working by the hour or whatever. That's right. This isn't my goal with Faye is to help her realize that this is a career.
Exactly.
And that she can make as much money as she wants sitting in that seat for the rest of her career.
That's right. I like it.
And yeah, I guess what I'm getting at, man, just imagine every one of those CSRs that has a dad that just wants them to be successful in life.
Yeah.
And if you set it up this way and you give them the attention that they deserve, they'll have that success and it'll benefit you because they're going to stay in that seat for longer.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I think so many business owners miss out on that opportunity right there that you just explained. That's doubling their business, tripling their business if they were to capture that. So I think that's huge. And I like that CSRs, the game plan that you gave, get the CSR up and running, have them sell service contracts, then turn them into rehash. And you basically build this gateway of them being able to scale their revenue, their money.
Yes. They feel more fulfilled. They feel happy.
Exactly.
They're more self-reliant. They're feeling more autonomous. They're taking ownership of their job.
Yeah.
If you don't have time to do this, get somebody to do it for you.
Yeah, that's right. All right. I got another elephant in the room one for you. So nowadays, everyone is setting up these forms on their website, online scheduling. People are filling out forms. They're doing texts and emails, and they're just defaulting to texting customers back or emailing customers and not picking up the phone and talking to them. What do you recommend? Like, how should people be handling, someone chatted in, someone filled out a form, and then they They text in. What does that look like?
So we assume that when people chat in, that we should chat back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same is true with email. I would do one of two things. If it's me,
Yeah.
I don't give a crap. I'm going to call them.
Yeah. Okay.
Why? Because I have charisma. I carry charisma over the phone, right? I'm going to use the pattern for excellence. I'm going to give them an opportunity to hear my voice, to hear the tone, to hear the intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
The minute they start talking to me, they might be perturbed for a split second. They might. Okay. If you want to be more cautious, great. Say, hey, this is a great question via email, right? Hey, this is a good question. Do you mind if we continue over the phone? It's a little bit easier to explain over the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. If they say, oh, sorry, I'm at work. Great. Fine.
Yeah.
The same thing's true via text, but look, the fastest, easiest way to make a sell is if we're face to face. This is why we get technicians and comfort advisors in homes.
That's right.
Okay. We get them in homes because we can make sales easier that way. The second fastest, easiest way to make more sales is over the phone.
Yeah.
Why? Because they can hear tone, they can hear intent, they can create a connection, an emotional connection. Okay. I hate text. I hate it. When I'm interacting with my employees and I try to be sarcastic via text, it never goes well.
No.
They get offended, they get hurt, they don't understand, and I end up calling anyway to explain what I meant.
Yeah.
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 I've had to apologize so many times because of a text where I tried to be sarcastic. I was trying to be funny, and it blows up in my face. And so look, it's not the best way to communicate. So look, I appreciate you bringing this up because once again, I'm going to give another example with my daughter, Faye. Okay. I like the girl. Okay. So look, yesterday, she was using Chirp. Familiar with Chirp?
Yeah.
Freaking awesome technology. Everybody should be using it. And the funny thing, Phil, it seems like everybody does tend to use Chirp, right? To stay in contact with their customers. They send email, they send text, they're constantly getting your existing customers to call back and buy more often. Because guess what? If they don't come back and buy, then they're not your customers anymore.
That's right.
That's why you use Chirp. Okay. The problem, the hole in the process though is that as soon as Chirp sends the lead via text or via email, the CSR never gets around to it.
Yep.
And by the time they do get around to it, they've already got their problem taken care of.
Yep.
You're not utilizing this amazing tool. What's wrong with you? Well,
Yeah.
the cool thing about Element Heating and Cooling is that they're actually incentivizing Faye and all the other CSRs when they call back and they book an appointment off of Chirp, they pay their CSRs for that.
Wow.
How smart.
It's good.
How smart. Now you've motivated me to make sure I keep my eye on Chirp because when I book a Chirp appointment, you're going to pay me for that. She did too yesterday.
That's right. That's right. And the cool thing is that the rehash thing that you're saying, instead of your daughter going in trying to find these opportunities, blah, blah, Chirp is creating the opportunities. All she has to do is then act on it. And so it speeds up the process a lot faster.
Yeah. And she said, Dad, should I text back or call back? Call back.
Yeah.
Call back. You got a better chance of selling it.
That's right. No, I like it. So if someone is, they don't have oversight into their CSRs, they have no idea what they're doing, how should they go about getting in contact with you? I know you have this FAM program, group coaching. What does all this look like for someone who's trying to help?
Yeah. So in addition to one-on-one coaching twice a month, we've begun the FAM program. It's called Fractional Accountability Management. Mm-hmm. The cool thing with fractional accountability management is that we can provide group oversight. It's for an hour once a week with the entire group of CSRs, dispatchers, and lead coordinators. And with this oversight, we set up KPIs. Now, the KPIs are going to vary dependent on a lot of things, but primarily whether or not you're booked up solid. If you're at 90% tomorrow, 80% the next day, and 70% the third day, right? The day after that. Well, we're going to focus in on booking every call that comes in, especially the very hard calls to book with the coaching, right? The one-on-one coaching. However, if we're at 50% tomorrow, 40% the next day, 30% the following day, we're going to focus in on outbound training. Okay. So the KPIs will be different depending on what the schedule looks like.
Yep.
And so in that group training, we're motivating, we're helping the CSR manager. We work hand in hand with the CSR manager. If you don't have a CSR manager, the FAM program is fantastic because you've got, in essence, a fractional accountability manager that can help with these things and keep your team motivated and rolling with the KPIs they should be going after, dependent on what the schedule looks like. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. So if someone wants to learn more about that, where should they go? What should they do?
Come to powersellingpros.com, just powersellingpros.com, and it's powersellingpros.com. Once you get to that website, right on the front page, there's a place where you can click to schedule a consultation. Okay. And let's just talk about what your needs are, and we can custom build a training program for your CSRs, your dispatchers, lead coordinators, to give them the oversight as well as one-on-one training they need to perform at an extremely high level.
Okay, cool. And do you mostly just work with ServiceTitan or other CRMs as well?
We work with other CRMs. ServiceTitan's our main one.
Yeah, of course.
It really doesn't matter. Whatever you're using, chances are we can use it.
Okay. Cool. Well, Brigham, this has been great, man. I appreciate that you break things down and you educate through this with stories as well as real things that people can implement. It's not just fluff stuff. So I really appreciate that about you. And also just the Spartan race stuff, you're a real dude, you share real stuff. You do cold plunges at people's offices, right? Like you're out there, you're a man of the people. And I really appreciate that about you. So thanks so much for sharing all that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. I love what I do. I love what I do. I love this industry. I love to see, let me give you one example. Okay. So, Lawrence at DeHart in Kansas. You probably saw the cold plunge pictures from his office.
Yeah.
Okay. When he first started his fitness journey, it was, well over 7 months ago. Well, today he's lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
I think I've shared the before and after on LinkedIn.
I think so too. Yeah.
And it was absolutely incredible. I would say that today more than ever, a business owner's team follows what he or she does much more so than what he or she says. Mm-hmm. And if you want to see success inside your business, one way to do it is to decide, just look in the mirror. Just look in the mirror and you'll know that, you know what, this isn't great. And it's amazing the trends you can set by changing your behavior that way physically. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, I love the industry. I love what I'm doing. I love being able to help guys like Lawrence. It's those individuals that do it for me. I'm very excited and grateful for the opportunity to work with him and many, many others in our industry. So thank you. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, round 3, we'll get it on the schedule as well. So thanks, brother. Sounds good. See you, man. Thanks, Phil. Bye.